the one thing about the super trainer thing is that in the end, it's just math. If you have 200 horses and they're divided by 2 guys, you're going to have far worse racing than if you have 200 horses and they're divided by 15 guys. And it's just a matter of semantics in so many ways. And I think people tend to think it's personal, and it's not personal. I mean, we train next to these guys every single day. Todd Pletcher was a classmate of mine in the University of Arizona. I mean, we've been friends for 30 years.
Is there an argument that the mom and pop store that, can provide, a little extra attention to each individual person that comes in, wants to buy some tomatoes and stuff? Or, is it better to have the supermarkets that can provide all the best stuff? I don't know. I mean, I think it's sort of the world that we live in, and I think as long as, it's a successful format that you're going to continue to see it. But, it might not be for everyone. Some owners might prefer to have, a trainer with less horses that can provide them with more individual attention.
It does hurt in one area. When you get into a Belmont or a Santa Anita or one of these larger tracks, and a Todd Pletcher or Wayne Lukas, say Karen McLaughlin or Dallas Stewart, or whoever out there has, Chad Brown has 250 horses or 150 even, it hurts in this area. When they enter, those 3 or 4 stables sometimes make it very difficult for a racing secretary to fill all the races, because they're only going to enter 1 and possibly 2 in a race. And then suddenly you don't get that individual entries in the entry box. The racing secretaries are not too crazy about it.
I don't think that's a new concept that the super trainers affect, other trainers. I can remember when I worked for Wayne Lukas back in '89, '90, he was getting a lot of criticism for similar things. And, his argument always was, it's an open marketplace. So, if you don't have enough horses, do something to get more. So I would kind of follow his line of thought, that it is a free marketplace, and I think the market will determine who has enough horses and who doesn't.
I think that what we do need to do is, if these stables get large, they need to do what we do. They need to spread them out to different racetracks. So if they keep too many at one racetrack, I think it's counterproductive. For a racing secretary, might be great for them. I don't know, the ownership might be a little bit involved here, where they say, well, you got 32-year-olds, when does mine get to run?
Some of the issues, not like we're picking on New York, but when you allow a guy to have unlimited stalls, then why wouldn't an owner go to the guy that's winning?
It's just the way it is. But I mean, I think a lot of businesses have the same kind of situation. A guy in construction with a small business is, he's probably struggling against a guy that's got a big construction company with, a lot of equipment and so I think it's the same in a lot of industries, to tell you the truth.
There's always going to be guys that train on the low end of the circuit. There's always going to be guys on the high end of the circuit. But the middle class guys, those are really the meat and potatoes outfits that are going out of business.
And there again, when the better horses are in such a few hands, it's very difficult to show your talent. But at the same time, that's why you have to work extra hard, and a little bit more of a hands-on approach occasionally pays off.
Nobody puts a gun to any owner's head and says, hey, you have to give the horse to Chad Brown, or you have to give it to Todd Pletcher and take it away. I think, people are driven by, they look and see who's being, winning, and they want to be there. I do believe that the feeling is, if I have a horse and I pay a lot of money for him and I give it to Todd Pletcher or Chad Brown, or somebody else, a Bill Mott or any of those guys, if I give them to them and they're not successful, well, then maybe it's just the horse.
If you're successful, you do well, you win races, that attracts more clients. And I think our program suits the American owners a lot. That we emphasize 2-year-old racing, 3-year-old racing. We've been fortunate to be successful in some of the Triple Crown events, and a lot of the prep races leading up to it. And You know, I mean, I think the one thing that we've done particularly well is develop stallions, and I think that's the one thing that we're proudest of is that, you know, we've got a good base of stallions out there that have come through our program and gone on to be successful in the stallion barn.
And confidence is a big deal, and it's a big deal with horses. And we have that ability. We have that ability to move horses around, and so that's one thing. The other thing is we have the ability to train our horses with other horses, and like anything else, if you're an okay golfer, but you play with a better golfer, sometimes you become a better golfer. Well, same thing with horses. They have to have the ability to train with better horses sometimes, and it makes them better. So